Jan Mahimi had a big game.
Big game.
You know, what do you want him to do in the offense? You don't obviously feed him the post like you did Roy, but how do you want him to get his points?
The way he did tonight. I mean, he's got to be a forceful roller. He's got to be a great screener. He's got to get open by setting great picks, you know, and obviously be active on the glass. And then, you know, when he gets the pocket pass in the lane, you know, he's becoming one of the better finishers. And, you know, but he's got to be a decision maker. You know, Miami's a very good weak side team, so a lot of times he's catching it in the lane, you know, with two guards underneath him rotating. So then he's got to make decisions and find weak side shooters, and he did a great job of that tonight.
He got some dunks off pick and rolls. That's something you couldn't have done last year in the offense. Is that something he gives you, unique?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, this is part of today's NBA is, you know, that forceful roller, the lob threat, or somebody that can just you know, race to the rim. You know, as the big is showing out on the pick and rolls and just rolling with force.
Do you feel like the free throws are a dead issue now for him?
I hope so. It looks that way. You know, I mean, he's been making them when they do a hack a shack, and made them when he was just getting ordinary fouls tonight. So, you know, this is what we see from him in practice. You know, just not when he's shooting 100 after practice, but also when we're scrimmaging and we put him to the line there as well.
We talked about Monte Ellis before the game, and you were asked, you know, what are the factors that go into him playing well or poorly? Was there anything in particular tonight that got him going? Or
you know, he's just one of those competitive spirit guys. You know, none of us liked losing 3 in a row, and you know, I thought he was one of the guys that came out and he said enough is enough, and just willed us to a victory with his defensive intensity. You know, being active, getting what do you have, 6 steals, and then making a lot of plays on the offensive end.
Frank, Monte finally seemed like he got extremely comfortable with the offense tonight. How excited are you to see him break out, and are you hoping that he's going to continue to play that well?
Yeah, there's no question. This is what our offense is going to be about. It's going to be a different guy every night. And, you know, Monte, you know, got going a little bit, and, you know, there's a lot of randomness, you know, less play calling, and you know, guys just playing the game out there. And, you know, he was able to take advantage of some pick and roll coverages that they were throwing at us, get some points in transition, and you know, obviously a big night from the 3-point line as well.
Coach, back to Jan for a moment. How important is Jan's skill set to being successful at both ends in the spread lineups?
It's it's very important, you know, because when you play spread lineups, you're going to play against a lot of spread lineups. So, you know, you have to have somebody that can protect the rim, you know, and block shots and, you know, understand drop coverages. You know, it's not just about being long. I mean, there's a lot of nuances to it that he's been with us for a few years and really gets. You know, he really understands it. And, you know, and then obviously on the offensive end, what he's able to do with his speed, not only in the half court, but running the floor. You know, getting down the floor and getting up and down, setting early drags, and rolling to the basket. He's a big part of what we're doing on both ends. There's no question.
You mentioned rim protection. It's something that he's done for years, backing up Roy. But there was a very important sequence where he basically chased Chris Bosh out past the 3-point line, stayed in front of him, and eventually Monte got a dig and turned it over. How good is he in the other aspects of defense, getting out on the floor, guarding the pick and roll, guarding his man away from the basket?
He's an exceptional defender. I mean, he's not ordinary. He's not good. He's exceptional. You know, for all those reasons, not just his versatility. He can guard the post. He's one of the best leveraged post defenders in the game. You know, some of the big centers come in here, and you know they got some a little bit of a size advantage in terms of weight. And you know, he's got a great low base, wide base. He can hold guys off. And, you know, obviously protect the rim in drops and in helps, but also with great speed to get back out to all these teams that are playing with 5 3-point shooters out there. I mean, it's a must to have a guy like Jan if you're going to be a good defensive guy, a good defensive team.
This game was unusual in that you didn't rely on the three-pointer to win. You know, you didn't shoot well from the three-point line. Is it gratifying in a way to win a game this way without having to hit 40% from the three-point line?
Well, the most important thing is we wanted to get our defense back. You know, we've really focused on that the last couple of days in practice, And I thought I wasn't perfect, but we definitely returned to form on some level, held them to 83 points. And when we talked about at halftime, is we're really not shooting the ball well. And we're going to knock down shots in the second half, but when you're not shooting the ball well, you've got to impact the game in other ways. And it's got to be on the defensive end. And all of our guys, I think, rose to the challenge in that regard.
You mentioned randomness earlier. Was that something you went into the game emphasizing about the offense?
Went into camp emphasizing it. It's that's kind of what we've been this year. And one of the changes when we started 0-3 is when we have two bigs out there, we were trying to play with randomness, and guys looked a little bit lost, it looked a little bit disorganized. So we brought some structure to the big lineup, and I want the spread lineups just playing loose and free, and just being in attack mode and reading defense, and not having a lot of set structure of what are we running, but just playing the game.
Frank, if I'm not mistaken, I think you guys are now undefeated when you hold your opponent under 90 points. And the difference in tonight's game was in the turnovers. I mean, points off and the spread between how many you got and how many you allowed, or how much you turned the ball over. With the makeup in this team changing from last year with Roy and the smash mouth kind of reputation you end up hold, do you think that this team gets enough credit for the defensive talent and effort that it has every night?
I would say that until the 3 games prior to this one, we're giving up 120 points a game. I thought that brought us back down to earth, but for a while we were ranked second or third in the league in defense, and that's what I think we can be this year. I think that's who we are. We got good defensive talent. We've got a good scheme. We have good flexibility to match big lineups and spread lineups, and we're going to use that flexibility. And my vision is that we become one of the best defensive teams in the NBA and combine that with a prolific offense and hopefully win a lot of games.